Hey y'all, I'm back with the book versus the movie review, and this time I'm discussing The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. Hey y'all, welcome back to Books with Kimberly.
And don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. Y'all, this video was recorded in October 2023. I wasn't going to post this video, but I decided to do it anyway. So that explains why in a few seconds I'm going to reference the summer. Enjoy.
Woo, child, I have been talking a lot trying to catch up on all the book content. Because, honey, the summer was good to me. And also, Renaissance was really good to me as well. Month of July, I read the book The Perfect Find, and I also watched the movie The Perfect Find, which you can find on Netflix, which stars Gabrielle Union and Keith Powers as the main characters. I was so excited to do another book versus the movie review. So I actually watched the movie twice before I read the book. So a little background. I was actually a little bit late to the party, and so I already saw in book groups where people were complaining about not liking the Netflix movie The Perfect Find. So I decided that I wanted to go ahead and watch the movie first, then read the book, which is something that I really haven't done a lot. I enjoyed the movie, y'all. I'll be honest, I did. I didn't think it was horrible like a lot of people did. There were some critics who did not like that Gabrielle Union, who is in her 50s, starred as a 40-year-old. Baby, Gabrielle is fine. She can play 30. I mean, she could play 25 and I wouldn't even be mad because she's just that gorgeous. And I love seeing her on my TV screen. The movie, it was not giving classic black romantic film like a Love Jones, a Love and Basketball, a Brown Sugar. It was giving, Hallmark. It was giving other black Netflix movies, which I was not mad at. I have lowered my expectations to the point where I'm not expecting these great romantic films of the 90s to be recreated and for the new romantic films of the 2000s to capture those same elements. So both the movie and the book have the same premise, which we get introduced to Jenna Jones, who is fresh off a breakup. She spent a year with her parents getting her life back on track. Her mom tells her, look, you got to go back to New York and do your thing. So she goes on job interviews and ends up landing a job as an editor at Darzine magazine, which is run by Darcy, who is a enemy of hers. Both of them being in the field, they used to always run into each other. They have an ongoing beef because Jenna used to date Darcy's ex, but Jenna makes it known that Darcy needs her just as much as she needs this job. Darcy lets her know, you are on thin ice. I'm giving you a couple months to produce what I need you to produce, and if not, you're going back out to the streets. So in celebration, Jenna and her friends go to a little party. Jenna gets a little lit, honey. She drinking a little something, and she ends up kissing this handsome young guy. She finds out that he's really young, and so she runs away before the steaminess can really take place. The next day, when she goes into work, she finds out that the young guy she made out with at the party was Darcy's son. He's 20-something years old, straight out of graduate school, a young filmmaker, but he will be working at Darzine with her. And not only will he be working at the magazine, he's actually going to be working with Jenna on a project, which they later named The Perfect Find. Jenna and him start to bicker. They want to forget that night happened. They're weirded out at the connection the two of them have to Darcy. It was really funny at first, but then the bickering got a little annoying. And so the two of them call a truce. In the midst of them working together, producing great content, the sparks that never died, they spark back up, and the two of them actually start to date behind Darcy's back. She is not happy when she finds out, and so a lot of drama ensues after that. I gave the movie 4 stars. I thought it was pretty good. Again, I thought it was like a cute little Hallmark-ish movie. There were some elements that were a miss for me. One of them was the age gap. They kept it very vague on how old Keith Powers' character Eric was. So you never knew how old Eric was. Keith Powers has a very youthful face, and so you can assume that he is in his mid-20s, maybe earlier 20s, late 20s. You're not really sure. Another element is Jenna was in a 10-year relationship with a guy named Brian, who is played by DB Woodside. Y'all, DB is fine. So I was upset that we didn't get more scenes with DB, and also more history on that relationship and how it led to Jenna going viral, her being blackballed. Like, they didn't go into depth on that relationship at all. The last element was the timing. Things really sped up towards the end once the ish hit the fan. I could not keep up with the timeline. Lastly, why I gave this book 4 stars, the ending was a little meh to me. Really, this how y'all gonna end the movie? But I was really interested in reading the book and getting those extra details, getting those missing elements. And I was expecting the book to really go into depth on all of those things and for me to really enjoy the book. I will go ahead and tell y'all, I actually enjoyed the movie more than the book. I have not heard this perspective as of yet. I think I'm probably standing by myself on that, but I actually enjoyed the movie more than the book. I will tell you why. Those elements that were missing in the movie, it all made sense to me once I read the book. Point 1, I talked about how we did not get a lot of background on DB Woodside's character, Brian, who is Jenna's ex-fiance, ex-partner in the book. He is a Jewish white guy, and I was curious about the change. One theory is because in the book, a lot of the non-black characters were what we would call very problematic. Tia Williams writes Brian, who is the ex of Jenna, they called him more black than black men. And I was like, really? And they were like, he could rap. And so I do feel like in today's climate, having this cultural appropriation would not have worked in the movie, but they still could have had a diverse cast and just left out those characteristics that were problematic. Yet still, I am never mad at seeing an all-black cast. The biggest annoyance in the movie was not knowing Eric's age. In the book, we find out that he is 22, his ex-girlfriend was 19, he likes to play video games, he likes to smoke with his friends, he living at home with his mom. In the movie, Keith Powers portrays Eric as more mature even though he is young. And they keep his age vague, I believe, to keep that element of, yes, he's young, but you don't know how young, so that you can really get on board with this age gap relationship. In the book, we know his age is 22, and we also find out that Jenna has met him before when he was 10 years old. He was running around a party playing, and to me, adding that detail in the book made me not be on board with the relationship in the book. I was okay with the relationship in the movie. I'm like, girl, okay, have your Hostella got her groove back moment, have your little cougar moment. I ain't mad at you. In the book, however, the author really stresses this age difference, how they have different lifestyles. Jenna is thinking about freezing her eggs and how can she have children and going to a fertility specialist, and he doesn't even want to be a father. And so you just have all of these reasons adding up on why the two of them shouldn't be together. I was not rooting for them as a couple because I did not understand how they could work. And going back to the whole meeting him as a 10-year-old, she was like, oh, I remember him as a kid, him and his little camera. And I'm just like, girl, how do you have that picture in your head and you having steamy scenes with him as a 22-year-old? I just love that in the movie they cut out all of that so we could just focus on the two of them in the present. But in the book, having that the two of them encountered each other in the past, plus the book, of course, it draws out the fact that they have all these differences. I struggled with rooting for them as a couple. One last difference is that the endings were completely different, and I felt like even though the endings threw me off, I felt like the movie ending was a lot more realistic than the ending in the book. The ending in the book, I was just like, what? Let me rewind this. What? I was shook it. Overall, The Perfect Find is not one of my favorite books by Tia Williams. I give them both 3.5, 4 stars. But still, I did like the movie better. Please let me know in the comments if you have read the book, watched the movie. Tell me what were those things that made you either like the book more or like the movie more. And thank you again for tuning in to a Books with Kimberly video.